Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here this evening. My name is Dr. Gaffney. I'm the Director of Student Services. I oversee our counseling department. We appreciate you juggling coming out here with the other events that are occurring this evening. So thank you for spending your time with us. We hope you did get out and vote. Critically important aspect of the American civil response. So thank you for that. I'm going to turn the evening over to our counselors, Mr. Lafiti and Mrs. Bonet, and they are going to run you through a variety of information related to 9th and 10th grade, kind of help you understand the roadmap for the next 3 or 4 years, as well as touch on some post-secondary stuff that, as crazy as it sounds, you guys are going to start to be thinking about. So thank you very much, and I'll hand it over to Mrs. Bonet.
Thank you all for being here tonight. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our 9th and 10th grade parent night. Okay, so we'd like to start with just introducing our school counselors. These are the school counselors that are here on campus to support your students throughout their whole academic career here at Clayton Valley. We have Dr. Gaffney, who just introduced himself. He is the director over counseling. We also have Ms. Coleman, Mr. Lafiti, Ms. Mojica, Ms. Gonzalez, Ms. Bonet, Ms. Garcia, and then we have Ms. Cash, who is over college and career. If you look below each of our names, there's a set of alpha, and that is how your student is assigned to us by your last name. This does kind of change year by year depending on the number of students that we get and where they fall within the alpha. But for the most part, this will be your counselor for the next 3 to 4 years. So counselors work with students in multiple ways here at campus. So we do academically, so we review grades. We look at their course achievements, and we also do target case management. So if your student is struggling academically, they will also meet with us as well to help them get back on track. We also do career and college, so we monitor students' progress, making sure that they're going to graduate on time and meet secondary goals that they have. We also do personal, social, emotional counseling. So if your student is having a rough time, if there's something going on at home that you think that the school or the teachers should know, you would contact the counselors. Therefore, we can make sure that we're providing enough support to the students, and if we notice any change in behavior or academically, maybe these things can all be tied together. We also have a licensed MFT here on campus who supports with emotional support, short-term counseling. She helps with teaching coping skills. She runs group and crisis management. We do have her. She's amazing. We have some interns that also work with her that are able to provide short-term counseling therapy on campus until you can either find a provider outside. Again, this is a very short 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions depending on the severity, but we do have people here in case things need extra support. Like I said, we have Ms. Cash, who is the college and career counselor. So her main focus is anything college and career and next level. So she does college and career workshops. She does the Naviance Career and College Platform, which I'll talk about in a minute. She does the college and career Schoology group. So she always posts information about scholarships, school visits, school reps. She also does the college and career events and fairs. That's where Schoology is also where you'll find some scholarship information. She does college applications, financial aid workshop, SATs, and ACT information. So again, Ms. Cash does everything college related, as well as your academic counselor. They also can do those things, but this is what Ms. Cash is designated for. So how does your student reach their counselor? We tell students the best time to reach us is before school or after school, during lunch or brunch. We do not want your student missing class, so it's really important that they're utilizing before school, after school, lunch, or brunch. No appointment is needed. They just drop into student services, sign in on the computer, and then they can come to our office. If something is urgent, we encourage your students to send us emails. We respond the quickest with emails, and we do have a phone that they can call if needed, but it's best to, like I said, email before school, after school, lunch, and brunch. How can you help your child? So it's really important that you monitor their grades weekly. There is parent access to Power School and Schoologies. If you guys are having difficulties logging on with those things, don't have access, please email your school counselor and they will put you in contact with Chris Callis, who will also help you. She runs that whole thing and she helps you log in and get you started to make sure that you can monitor your students' grades. So on Schoology is where you'll be able to see assignments and grades if things are missing. Power School tracks grades and also assignments. So we also encourage you guys to check the Clayton Valley's website and bulletin weekly. Encourage your students to attend the homework help. We have homework help Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 4:30 in the B Hall. This is open to all students. We have peer tutors and as well as teachers in there who can support your students on almost every subject. We encourage your student to work with their teachers during Eagle Time, which is on block days. It's the last 30 minutes of each period. This is time for your students to have one-on-ones with their teachers. It can range anywhere from like a couple minutes depending on how many students need the teachers. And if no one needs the teacher that period, your student could almost have the whole time. Working with the teachers, this is where you can get makeup work, do test corrections, get to-do lists for like making up assignments, or just talking to the teacher when you need more clarity or understanding about assignments or projects coming up. We encourage you to have your students work with their teachers, come talk to our counselors if ever they're struggling, and just staying on top of your students and just communicating with them. So programs, academies, and athletics and clubs, there are a bunch of things you can do here at Clayton Valley. So we have a number of clubs, programs, a bunch of sports, and academies that students can be a part of. We strongly encourage you to get your students involved in something. It's been proven that the more active students are in school and activities, the better off they are well-rounded. It also is really good if your student is looking forward to going to college. These are things that colleges are looking forward to seeing on applications. So how do I know what's going on at CV? So we have the newsletter that gets sent out every week via email. You can subscribe to the newsletter. We also have the newsletter on the website and the Clayton Valley calendar. You can also join the Parent Faculty Club, and you can also visit us on the Facebook webpage that has all the information. So how to use the Clayton Valley's website to stay up to date. So there's the calendar thing for events. So that's testing, athletics, activities, school-wide events. There's the newsletter, which comes out on Tuesdays with all, like most of the weekly updates. There's also the counseling page where you will find presentations, PowerPoints. This PowerPoint will be available to you on the counseling website, and resources, college and career information. And then there's the athletics page where you can get in contact with coaches, schedules, and the physical form for your student who is playing a sport, So Power School and Schoology. So again, Power School has the grades, attendance. It is available on an app. And then Schoology is more the grades and the assignments. So teachers typically use Schoology first. That's where they plug in all the missing assignments. And then Schoology talks to Power School and reports it. Sometimes they don't talk to each other daily. And so Power School may say one thing and Schoology may say another thing. Allow 24 hours before you hit up that teacher and say, hey, something's not adding up. The system just takes a while to talk. Staying on top of grades. So here at Clayton Valley, to earn a passing grade, you must have a C, your student, must have a C or higher at the end of the semester. Each semester, which goes from August to December, and then January until June, you should receive 30 credits each semester. So by the time your student finishes one school year, they should have a total of 60 credits. If for some reason your student fails a class, we do have credit recovery options. It happens in the fall and the spring. There is a winter intersession, which is a short 3-week power through session. We also have summer school, which is also an in-person thing. You can make classes through the community college, which you can talk to your school counselor about, as well as repeat in seat. So for some students who may not pass Algebra 1, they're going to take Algebra 1 the next year in seat. So graduation requirements. As a Clayton Valley student, you must have 4 years of English, 3 years of history, world, US, Econ Gov, 12th grade. You must have 3 years of science, must include 1 life science and 1 physical science, which will include biology, chemistry, biology and physics. And you must have 3 years of math, including Algebra 1. Some of your students may have taken Algebra 1 as an 8th grader and came straight into Algebra 2 or geometry. So as long as they've completed it at some point, that's fine. But here, once they get to Clayton Valley, you must have 3 years of math, 2 years of the same world language. So if your student starts in Spanish 1, they must make it to Spanish 2. Same thing with ASL or French. Now, if they take one language freshman year and said that wasn't their favorite, they can then take another language sophomore year, but then just no junior year. They must complete one of those to complete the 2-year requirement. You must have 1 year of a visual and performing arts, 2 years of PE, 1 college prep elective, and 40 credits worth of electives, equaling 230 credits to meet the Clayton Valley graduation requirements. So there are the UC and CSU admissions, which are considered the A through G requirement. Luckily for Clayton Valley, we are an A through G school, so we align with this. So as long as your student meets Clayton Valley's graduation requirements, they will also fall in line with the A through G requirements and make them eligible to apply to a CSU or UC when it's their time to apply for college. So Clayton Valley also offers advanced placement and honors courses. These do give you a GPA bump. So if you're looking at the weighted GPAs, A's are now worth 5 points versus 4 points. And if you look below, it's the unweighted, which is the 4.0 scale. So we do tell and encourage students to take APs and honors courses. We tell them quality over quantity. We don't want them jam-packing 4, 5, 6 AP honors classes and not doing their best. We rather them slowly add classes. Maybe take one, excuse me, maybe take one and see how they do. The next year they can take 2. Continue to challenge yourself, but don't just throw yourself in and then overwhelm yourself and then you don't do as well as you want to, because the whole point is to earn those extra GPA bumps as well as get the college credits once you pass the AP exam. For any student who is currently playing college sport and is looking to play in college, a high school sport looking to play in college, you do have to be NCAA eligible. This is a special requirement that they have, that if your student is planning, thinking, hoping, wanting, maybe, you want to make sure that they are meeting all of the NCAA requirements, and I strongly encourage them to go meet with Ms. Cash as soon as possible, because there are a certain set of classes you have to have before you reach your senior year to be eligible for this. Again, even if your student is an athlete and they're like, I don't know, you want to make sure that you have the opportunity in case something comes their way. So, some college planning. So in California, there's 4 systems of education: community college, California State Universities, UCs, and private schools. So in California, there are 114 community colleges, and the requirements to get in, you must be 18 or older or have a high school diploma. All you have to do to get into community college is apply, wait 24 hours, they will provide you with a student ID number, and then once you were provided that, you log in, they give you a registration date, and then you can register for classes once your date comes available. You have the option to transfer, so you can do 2 years and then transfer to a university. You also have the option to do an AS or an AA degree, which is an associate's degree, vocational and certification programs. DVC has a bunch of them, and if you have any questions of what these other options might be, you can definitely talk to your school counselor and we can provide you with that additional information. There also are the CSUs. There are 23 in the state of California. They require the A through G requirement, at least a 2.0 or higher GPA, and they do not require the SATs or ACTs. Since COVID, SATs and ACTs kind of have gone away with some of the schools, so the UCs and CSUs no longer require the SATs. It does not help your student to get into any of these schools by taking them. So if you have these scores, they literally just kind of place you in a, it's like self-reporting your where your math and English belong, like what class you'll go into. But you could do that without having to take the SAT based off your senior year English and math. And so obviously there's a bunch of them all up California. There's the UCs. So there are 10 UCs, only 9 of them accept freshmen. So UC San Francisco does not take incoming freshmen. They, again, want the A through G. You must have a 3.0 or higher. They are looking for those extracurricular activities. So they're looking for those sports, those clubs, those different activities, because what I tell students all the time, the students who go to Berkeley all have good grades. That's how they got into Berkeley. What do you bring to Berkeley that makes you stand out? Were you a captain of the sports you played? Were you a leader, a youth leader at your church? So what did you give back to the community that you could possibly give back to the UCs? That's really big for them. They also want you to do personal insight questions. So they're really short essays. They give you 8 prompts. You have to answer 4 of the 8 prompts. We tell students, look for prompts that really relate to who you are, your experiences, and the things that you've done. Again, no SATs or ACTs are required. So independent and private schools, there are 82 of them in the state of California. Again, most of them require the same A through G requirements. Some of them may require SATs and ACTs, and if those are schools that you are looking into or your student is looking into, we strongly encourage you to start looking at their school's website admissions page, because on there it will tell you if they are requiring you to have the SATs or ACTs. So again, double check their website. There are out-of-state colleges. There are a bunch of them. Again, most of them require the A through G, which your student will meet by being a Clayton Valley graduate. Some of them may require the SATs or ACTs. They may require essays, letters of recommendation. Again, double check their website to ensure that you are not missing anything, because I would hate for you to get to the application process and need to take all this stuff and maybe not have all the things you need. Some students and parents ask, why consider out of state? They do have a higher admit rate because they're not as impacted as our California schools. Who wouldn't want to come to California, right? They also have a higher 4-year completion rate, so more students finish in 4 years than you do at maybe a CSU, because again, our schools are so impacted. So even the basic intro to psychology might take you 2 semesters to get into, and therefore you're kind of delaying your graduation process unless you double up and take 5 or 6 classes. And so out-of-state schools don't always have that same issue. And there's also additional potential for scholarships. For example, there's the Western Undergraduate Exchange Program. And that is where if you go to these 16 states, they will pay you to come to their state. So financially, that's great to go out of state because they give you money for that. So if your student is thinking about taking the SATs, there are the PSATs, which are the practice tests that they can take, and then they can get ready for the SATs. At the bottom, there are 4 websites that help your students prep for the SATs. And so most students who are planning to take the SATs take it the spring of their junior year. So springtime starts in like the January, February, March, April time of the year, and they take it their junior year. So they'll already have test scores by the time they come into senior year. And that also allows them that if they take it early enough in their junior year and they need to repeat, to get higher scores, they also have the summer or the beginning of their senior year to do that. So Naviance was something that we talked about with Ms. Cash on the college and career platform. This is where we help students get ready for college applications. So on there, it's a tool for all of our students to use and helps them with career planning and academic planning. By your senior year, you will have used Naviance for applications, for college, scholarships, and complete other important tasks that help you be successful. It is a helpful tool for self-discovery, exploring, looking up college. There's something called a super match. What I tell students is you can use Naviance to help you really find the school that fits for you. Quick story, straight out of high school, I moved to Oklahoma. I went to an HBCU called Langston University. I was back home within 1 year. And I always tell students, they say, why do you think I came back? And they're like, I don't know. And I say, because I didn't know where I was going. A California girl moving to Oklahoma wasn't for me. It took me 20 minutes to get to the nearest McDonald's, which was connected to the nearest Starbucks. A struggle, right? It was an hour to the mall, even more of a struggle. So I didn't do my research. I applied, I got in, I went. This platform helps you explore. You can literally put in there, I want to go to a school next to a beach. Starbucks is 5 minutes away. And it will come up with colleges that match that. Another big thing we try to tell students is when you're thinking about what it is you want to do versus where you want to go, sometimes they don't align. I want to go to UC Davis and I want to major in forensic science. UC Davis may not have forensic science. So now you have to pick, do you want to go to UC Davis or do you want to do forensic science? Naviance will help you navigate that and see what other schools have the programs you want so you can go where you need to go. And so there's a bunch of benefits. Students can log on through Naviance. And this is also where they will sign up to do college visits. So when colleges come to campus, it'll all be on there. They can click the link and then sign up to go to the college visits to get more information. Unlike I did when going to Oklahoma, I had no information. We want them to be prepared to know what they're getting themselves into. So how to log into Naviance. Students just need to log into their Gmail account, and then they're able to click from the Clayton Valley's website, the Naviance link, and then hit students, and they log right in. So there's no extra login. There's no code they need. Literally, they log into their student email, and from their student email, the Clayton Valley website will take them right to Naviance. So that is the presentation. Do you guys have any questions for me or Mr. Lafiti. Yes. Yeah, possible. It's kind of a, so Edgenuity is our online program that offers classes. So it would be more, I would talk to his counselor directly because they could tell you exactly the setup for him or his path. Mhm. Yes. No, you can go in and say, oh, I want to try medical academy, don't really like it, jump out, but you will not be like certified or like, you'll get the credits for the classes you take, but you won't be able to say like, I completed the medical academy because you didn't finish the series. It is, all academies are a 4-year series. Yes. Mhm. Yes. So we do have something that's called, well, between us and DVC, it's called dual enrollment. You must go to DVC's website, and then you have to fill out the special enrollment form. You put in your counselor's email, it goes to the counselor approves the class, sends it back to DVC. Just some information about that. If your student wants to take a class at DVC, we strongly encourage all students to take college level courses. However, if you take a class that we offer, we cannot give you any credit for that. So for instance, your student wants to take Spanish 1 at DVC. We cannot give them credit for that because it is a class we offer. But if they say, I want to go to DVC and take Mandarin, they can receive their high school language credits from that. So if your student is wanting to possibly have 4 classes their senior year, open their schedule up for more electives, more academy options, they can go to DVC, take Mandarin, Mandarin 1, Mandarin 2, that counts for both of their years of language. We take those, and then they're done. But again, we can't do that for US history. We can't do that for English. We can't do that for any classes that we offer here. Yes. Okay. So if your student wants to take ASL 1, because this year we do not have ASL 1, they have 1 semester to take it, which would be next semester. The problem with that is, because we have an ASL 2 now, we may not have it because we don't have ASL 1 kids to feed into it. If that makes sense. I've had a few students who are taking ASL 1 in hopes that there is an ASL 2. So if we get enough kids, then yes, we will have ASL 2 next year for probably like 1 class. But our ASL teacher probably will do more ASL 1, and then hopefully we can get another ASL teacher, or maybe she could divide it up where she teaches 4 periods of ASL 1 and 1 period of ASL 2. It's up in the air with the ASL 1. Yes. Yes. They can take summer too. And it doesn't have to be DVC. It could be any community college. Yes. So if I'm not, it's free. The high school students go to DVC for free. Mm-hmm. Yes, that is a thing. So even if your student takes community college classes 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, once they graduate, they are considered a first-time college student. Because right now, they're not a college student. They're a high school student taking college level courses. Once they graduate, once they enroll in their first college course, if they go to DVC, they are a first-time college student. You must be first-time, full-time, tuition's free. And you have to take a full load, which is 12 units, which is about 4 classes. Yes. So the UCs have a program called TAG at community colleges, and it tags. It's not all UCs. I think it's 6. Don't quote me on that. But it's a program that is aligned with the community colleges that says if you complete these 60 units worth of classes, you can tag to UC Davis, and as long as you meet the requirements, boom, you're in. If you don't do the TAG program, which you don't have to, you must complete 60 transferable units in certain areas in order to transfer to a UC. Majors like psychology, sociology, English, communications, you follow the IGETSI almost to a T, which is their breakdown of classes. If you are in a STEM major, maybe like computer science, those ones, they kind of have like a separate path because you're so math and science driven that they don't want you to take a bunch of general English, history, humanities. They want you to focus on your courses that apply to you when you get into the program at UCs. That makes sense. Yes. I might be answering this wrong. So if you are a high school student, any classes that you take during your high school time, even if you take that Mandarin and it counts as your language credits here, they still are at community college and they still count as your transfer. And even if you wanted to take US history at DVC now, it would still stay there for when your student goes to college. It's still knocking classes off of their general ed list. Mhm. Yes. So if you, when your student leave here as a senior, they are going to apply to, let's say, UC Davis. They apply as a freshman. They don't apply as a transfer. They apply as a freshman, and on their application it says college level courses completed, and then you send an official transcript from DVC or whatever community college to that school, and then they record it. So I do, like I said, we do encourage students to start taking community college or college level courses because it does kind of help them out, gives them a jump start to when they do go to college. You can knock out, if you took one college class a summer, you would knock out 4 classes, which essentially is your first semester. But I always tell students, enjoy high school. You have the rest of your life to be an adult. Yes. Again, it's still in your high school, it's still in your college transcript. So if your student goes off and fails a class, it is a failed class on their college record. Mm-hmm. There's another hand? Yes. 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 Right, so you wouldn't be able to fulfill your US history requirement. So you have to take world history, US history, econ, and gov. So any of those classes, we cannot accept them because we offer them. We're a school that wants to keep our kids, so if they could take our classes somewhere else, we wouldn't have classes filled. So we can't, but again, if he wanted to take, I know DVC has a history of California class. Sure, you could take that, and that would go towards your 40 elective credits. Any other questions? Yes. I don't know. I really don't know. I would think that, yes, it should be offered. So then again, it just depends on like when course selection comes out, it's really important that you really think about the classes that you're signing up for because that's how we determine what the need is for the next year. So if your student wants to take ASL 1, and we need ASL 2, so you would need to make sure that you sign up for ASL 2 if that's an option. So I don't know. That's like, I don't know. I would think so because we have to be able to offer the next one because if students came in at ASL 2, we have to be able to fulfill their 2-year requirement. So yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Yep. Yes. And the same thing goes for your students who, it says, for instance, 3 years of math. We strongly encourage your students to take 4 years of math. Do not take a math break. That is the worst thing you can do. If you struggle with math, taking a break is only gonna make you struggle more. We wanna make sure that our students are prepared and ready to go to college level math, and so take 4 years of math. Now, if you take 4 years of math, we're only requiring 3 to meet the math requirements. That other one then goes to electives. Any other questions? Yes. Uh-huh. So UCs would like to see 3 years of language. Same language, yes. So UCs want 2 years of the same language, they recommend 3 years. But again, you can get in without the 3 years, but that's just kind of what they recommend or would like to see. Yes. 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 So for instance, if your student took Spanish 1 in middle school, then they jump to Spanish 2 here and Spanish 3, the UC sees all 3 years because they made it through the 3rd level. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Like requirement for them? No. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. So we do have a school profile that does have like the GPAs of the graduating class prior to. So if we're graduating class of 2025, the class of 2024 is on the school profile, and it would say like what the average GPA was. It also says the percentage of students that went to UCs, to CSUs, and the GPA average. So kind of, sort of? No, not for like each college, because that's a lot of schools. But the UCs and CSUs, we kind of have like an idea of how many of our students got accepted and what their GPAs are. And that, again, that's that Naviance tool that helps us track all of that. So that's really important that you encourage your students to use that. Yes. So we do not have semester-long classes. All of our classes are year-long. The only thing that kind of can wiggle are things like PE and bowling, yoga, because, I mean, you missed basketball last semester, you'll join soccer this semester, kind of thing. We do not do teacher changes. And so if there's an issue with the teacher, I recommend you, the parent, reaching out to the teacher. If that doesn't work, reach out to the counselor. The counselor can then reach out to the director of who's over that department, and maybe there's a parent-teacher conference that needs to happen, a parent-teacher counselor-director conversation that needs to happen, but we do not do teacher changes. We try to figure out a solution before we start making a bunch of changes, because, yeah, it's just not something that's feasible for us to do. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to get ready to wrap up. If any questions come about, me and Mr. Lafiti will hang out for another couple, 10, 15 minutes. You can always reach your counselors. Our counseling emails are based off our last names. So mine, my first name's not there either. On the website, it's ashley.bonet@Clayton Valley, and that's the way that you can contact your counselor. It's also the way that you can contact your teachers. It's always their first last name at claytonvalley.org. And so you can email any questions, and I would put in the subject line, Parent Night questions, so we know where the question's coming from and how to best support you with the information that's given. But that will conclude our Parent Night. Again, me and Mr. Lafiti will hang out up here if you have any questions.